I wrote a book in 2007 called The Lucifer Effect. The subtitle is Understanding How Good People Can Turn Evil. And in the book, I summarize in great detail, which I had never done before, my Stanford prison experiment, which I did way back in August 1971. But then I also present in great detail my experience with Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, working as a part of the defense team for Chip Frederick. And then also I expand to say, let's look at evil around the world. So I summarize all the evil in psychological research. I had chapters on evil around the world about Rwanda and Bosnia. And right now, there are more conflicts around the world than ever before. Evil is taking action, using your power to destroy other people, or to destroy a religion, or destroy a way of thinking or living. And it's always done to have more personal power, or national power, or religious power. So I should mention about Stanley Milgram. Stanley Milgram was a little Jewish boy. We were in the same class in high school, in James Monroe High School in the Bronx. And we sat next to each other. And he was brilliant. And this was 1948, 49, 50. And it's not that far from the Second World War. And he used to say, I wonder if it could ever happen that me and my family could be in a concentration camp. People said, no, Stanley, we're not that kind of people. He said, I bet they said the same thing then. We're not that kind of people. And then he said, 16 years old, said, how do you know what you would do until you're in that situation? Yeah. You know, when you're not in the situation, you're a good person. I would never do that. Now you're in the situation, and look, you're doing it. The reason I did the Stanford prison experiment is I imagined that it's relatively rare that you're in a situation where somebody says, do something bad. That usually you have a job. You know, you're a used car salesman and the boss says, you know, get the best price for this car, don't tell them it was in an accident. Or you're selling some property that you know could be on an earthquake. You know, so that's evil. You're going to sell somebody a bad car. Or you're a policeman and your job is to keep law and order, and you happen to be in an area of a ghetto area where immigrants or blacks or Hispanics, and the people in the neighborhood say, we want you to protect us. And so you're going to be too ready to punish, jail migrants or immigrants. So for me, it said, typically, we play a role in life. We are the role we play. I'm a teacher, you're a business. So I said, what happens when we put people in roles that everybody knows are roles about power? If you're a guard, your job is to demonstrate to the prisoners you have power and they have none. And what you know from the study is within one day, the guards are now harming the prisoners, abusing them in infinitely creatively evil ways. And as you know, recently there was a movie, a Hollywood movie made about it, which is about 90% accurate. I was a consultant on the movie, and so almost all of it is accurate. The only thing they changed was the way the study ended. Is my wife, Christina Maslach, who we started dating. We just moved in together in San Francisco, not far from here. When she came down halfway through and saw what was happening, she started to cry, got really upset, and said, it's terrible what you are doing to those boys. They're not prisoners, they're not guards, they're boys, students, you know, and you're allowing them to suffer. And I don't understand, you know, you have a reputation, you love students, students love you, these are students. And then I had a big argument and said, you know, you're a woman, you're too soft. No, really, then she said, stop. If this is the real you, I don't want to continue my relationship with you. You know, essentially that's the heroic thing to say. I'm willing to give up a romantic, hopefully lifetime relationship if you continue to engage in this evil. You continue this. And at that point, I said, oh my God, you're right. So in the real world, I said, okay, I'm going to end the study tomorrow. So the Lucifer effect is really all about, it's a roundabout way of saying how easy it is for ordinary people to be seduced by power. And sometimes it's minimal power. I mean, as I said early in my biography, as a child growing up in the South Bronx ghetto, you know, there would be men, always men, never women, who would seduce kids to do evil things for money. To take a package from here to there, you get $10. $10 then was like $100 now. Or, you know, to break into a store at night to steal, or girls to sell your body. And some of my friends did it, and I and others didn't. You know, so as a child, I was always thinking, what's the difference between people giving into temptation? And temptation is all about having, so this is money power. Now, if you're middle class, you don't do things for money as a kid. You get an allowance, you have a job, you want, Mama, I want a bike, I want Air Jordan shoes, you know, and you get it. If you're poor, none of that works. So again, one of the reasons poor people are overrepresented in prison is that many of them have no legitimate way of having access to money, which you need in the extreme for survival, or you need just to have good things in your life. Everybody was aware, I mean, at some level, everybody's aware it's an experiment. You come, if you're a guard, you come in to Stanford University. You walk down a flight of steps. So the guards worked 8-hour shifts, obviously, the prisoners live there. So if you're a guard, and you leave, there's a dressing room, guards court. So you get put in the uniform, you work 8 hours, you leave, you walk out. So the guards always knew it was not a real prison, it was a basement in a psychology building. The prisons, once you're there, you know, you lose that connection because there's no windows, there's no clocks. Your whole life is in a little prison cell or a corridor. But after the first day, no one used the word experiment, meaning it was a prison run by psychologists. You come down, they say, okay, you're gonna be a guard, you're gonna be a prisoner. You put on your uniform, you put on the makeup, you step on the stage and you perform. But now there's no audience. So you're performing and the audience is in your mind. On the first day, nothing happened. Nobody wanted to be a guard. But once you put them in the uniform and the goggles, I mean, the silver reflecting goggle, you become dehumanized, they can't see you. And pretty soon, you became a guard. And at any time, if somebody says, I quit the experiment to me had to release them. That's all I said, I quit the experiment. No one said that. They said, I want to see a doctor. I want to see a lawyer. I want my mother. And then over time, the guards began to enjoy their unlimited power. You know, because almost always it was guards and prisoners. It was very rare that I or my graduate students went on the yard, because essentially we're looking at what's happening behind the scenes. Oh yeah, of course. No, I mean, the biggest mistake I made was to be the principal investigator and the superintendent of the Stanford prison jail. And the problem was that I began to live in the experiment, meaning at night I would sleep on a couch in my office upstairs. So I never left. So I'd sleep, and then in the middle of the night, the assistants would come up and say, somebody's having a nervous break. I'd run down, talk to them, bring them to student health. And so I'm living in this environment. And I just underestimated what it means to have an experiment that doesn't stop. So over time, I became the superintendent of the prison, which was a really big mistake. Now, I think if Christina had not intervened, I would have ended it on Sunday, only because it started on Sunday, and so psychologically it would be a week. So I'd say, I'm doing a good thing, I'm not going the second week. But I'm so glad, so glad I ended it when I did.